Somebody else who I couldn't censor, even if I wanted to, is Nick Buckley, MBE, who joins us now. Nick, good to see you again. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you again for the invite.
Always good to see you. Let's see if we can get through these stories. TfL is dealing with cyber attack as the National Crime Agency launches an investigation. I haven't any faith in TfL anyway, Transport for London. They carry out the terrible mayor's bidding, Sadiq Khan's bidding, punishing people with poor car with old cars. What do you make of this story? What is this cyber attack?
This is more serious than it sounds. This isn't about somebody hacking into London Transport to steal some credit card numbers, which people are doing all the time. This is a national emergency for all Western countries. Everything we do now is online. Everything you can attack us now from Pakistan, from Nigeria, from Kuala Lumpur. It makes no difference. We've got to start taking this seriously in this country. Our enemies, and we have enemies across the world, are using these attacks to undermine us, to damage us, to break our infrastructure, to make sure we lose faith in our government, which we're doing on many, many issues, by the way. But this is so much more serious than the Transport for London.
So, yeah, who do you think's behind it? We can't really speculate too much, but let me ask you a more meaningful question. What do you think is the motivation of targeting TfL?
It could several reasons. So it could be some kid somewhere sat in his bedroom who thinks this is funny. There's always people who do these sort of things, who will set fire to their old school, who just want to see destruction because it's a way of them taking control and being more powerful than they are. So you've always got usually boys as well. So you've got them doing it. You then may have professional hackers who are being paid on a contract by somebody they probably don't even know to attack certain infrastructure in the country. And then you've got direct foreign players who are paid for by their government to actually attack us. So I come up with sort of three different versions there.
This one clearly hasn't settled, and I suspect if you're saying it's serious, it's very serious indeed. But it does show how vulnerable we now are. I've had 2 mobile phones still in the 4-month period in London a couple of years ago. My biggest worry is what data will eventually come back to bite me from that in terms of financial data. Someone else who's in trouble for being on the internet. Childminder married to Conservative councillor pleads guilty of stirring up racial hatred. Lucy Connolly apparently faces a severe prison sentence. I see what she said. Mass deportation now set fire to all the hotels full of the for all I care. Is this proportionate?
This is more complicated than it initially looks. What she said, you could class as stirring up racial hatred. Because she said burn down the hotels the migrants are in. But she said that online. Did she mean it? No. If we're going to start locking up people, I mean, she needs to be arrested and she needs to be dealt with. Of course she does. We can't have people saying those things. But if that's the case, then we need to build 19,000 more prisons because there's many people we need to lock up in this country. She's basically now being treated as a political prisoner, and many of these people are. Because you could have done exactly what she did 3 months ago, nothing would have happened to you. You probably wouldn't even got a knock on the door from the police if you were lucky. But now you're going straight to jail, straight on remand, which means you're not being let out until your court case. You're then being told by the CPS that we're going to hold you on remand until your court date, which is so you can either plead guilty, get this over and done with, you'll be out in a couple of months, or your court case will be 18 months from now, and we're going to hold you on remand for 18 months. That's why many of these people are pleading guilty, because they're being told 2 years in jail, or you'll be out in 3 months. So people are taking the 3 months. This is absolutely disgraceful. These people are political prisoners in the UK, and I never thought I'd say that.
This is what worries me, the politicization of our system. I note once again one of my guests from last week who was arrested twice by West Midlands police in the middle of England for silent prayer. Silent prayer. They had to pay compensation. Instead of the government saying this is a horrendous miscarriage of justice, they said, oh, we have to review the legislation, and this does seem to bother me. You used the phrase political prisoner, and that bothers me because it does seem to run through thematically where we're heading. Now, there's another story here which I found curious. Irish doctors demand ban on children using mobile phones. I don't let my young children use mobile phones to make any calls, but they do use them as screens when we're traveling. Why are the Irish doctors so concerned about this?
So mobile phones, over the 15 years we've sort of, not smartphones as we now call them, that we've had over the last 15 years, I can see it damaging children. Just by the way they can communicate with other people, what they're accessing online. So we know they can be dangerous. All technology can be dangerous if it's used in the wrong way and it's not monitored, and we don't understand how it works. So we don't understand what this online world is doing to us. We've not had it long enough. The first problem I've got is I don't want doctors telling us what we need to ban. Who are they to tell us what we should ban and not ban? But I'd like doctors to do the work and do the reports and come up with how they think mobile phones are damaging children and give us the information. And then it's down to people, it's down to government then to look at that information. They are onto something. Mobile phones for children are damaging. What do we do about it? I have no idea. We can't ban them. Impossible.
How are they damaging? But are they more damaging than television, for example? Or what I used to do, spend a long time on my parents' landline in the 1970s talking to my friends.
And that's why we need some reports, and that's why we need experiments on this to find out exactly what's happening and how damaging are they in different parts of how you can be damaged, and how do we mitigate that damage, and what are the benefits? Because you're quite right. If you're a child in a deprived household and you've got rubbish parents who don't speak to you, don't communicate with you, who ignore you, you're being basically emotionally abused, that smartphone is doing more good for you than damage for you because you're getting no stimulus anywhere else. So we just need to be clever about this, and we need some official reports over many years, and then we can start evidencing the damage, mitigating against it, and working out what are the benefits and how do we walk this tightrope. It's not as simple as good, bad, ban or keep. It's more complicated than that. Finally,
you're a trendsetter, Nick. I'm sure that you've got your Oasis tickets. This phenomenon, self-generated in my view, which has now led to this endless recycled story about ticket prices and variable pricing based on demand. Now, apparently, I'm meant to be outraged by this. I think it's the free market. It's not a legal obligation to go and see the Gallagher brothers performing. What do you think of this one? I'm more annoyed about the fact that the plane tickets go up and down. I love flying, and that annoys me whenever the prices go up. But I can't really hold it against the airlines because they're just running a business. So are the Gallaghers.
First of all, I couldn't think of anything worse stood in a field with a load of Mancs, and I'm a Manc, watching Oasis when it's probably raining, where everyone's urinating on the floor and drunk. I'm not paying for that. Now, when it comes to the ticket prices, you're right, who cares? These two men have come out of retirement to make as much money as possible. And do you know what? Good for them. Because they've got something people are willing to buy. And that's playing the old songs they wrote 20, 30 years ago. The government should not be interfering in how people make money legally. It's down to them, the price of the tickets they sell. Because we're not being forced to buy them. If you don't want to buy them, don't buy them. If you can't afford to buy them, then that's a shame, isn't it? I'd like to go to Peru, to Machu Picchu, but do you know how expensive that would be for me? I can't afford it. I don't ask the government to start subsidising or making the airlines or making Machu Picchu reduce the price of entrance.
I'll bring my Des O'Connor and Perry Como records round to your house. You bring the beer. We'll have just as much fun, and we won't get wet.
More fun.
Good to see you, Nick. That's Nick Buckley, who won't be showing up at Oasis concerts anytime soon.
Did you enjoy that video? I think you did. Come on now, hit that bell, subscribe, comment. Let's build this channel. I need more followers. I need more subscribers. Be part of the journey. See you soon.